Oh. Sorry.
Sarah, this is
Do you want? Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I wanted to talk to you about something before we actually start the service. Did you see the news yesterday? So there was news about Bossier City. There was an organization that was called something like, Americans United for Separation of Church and State. And they brought a lawsuit against the Bossier school system. Did you see this? And Bossier schools have agreed to train their staff and change their policies because of it. And the lawsuit is still in effect. But the comment that the Bossier schools came up with is the Bossier Parish School Board and its administration are committed to maintaining exceptional schools, respecting the rights and beliefs of every student and family in our community, and carefully following all applicable federal and state laws. That's a part of it. Some of the things, I will not tell you if any of our congregants were involved in that, because that's not appropriate, but I can tell you that some of our congregations, some of the congregants, some of the families were subject to things like if they're in the choir, they're obligated to sing only at churches when they leave campus and only Christian music. That is true. There's one family that told me that if they were doing math or if they were doing English, like spelling words, and this is young kids, every single sentence and every single question was a Jesus question. So it would be things like, if Jesus did this many miracles and then he did this many miracles, how many miracles did he do altogether? Every single question was Jesus related. And there's obviously more. If you read it, it gives you a list of the kinds of things that they were being challenged about. I can tell you that the people who brought this up were not the Jewish families, although some of the Jewish families were affected. I can tell you that. But it's an interesting development in our community. No, it's the whole school system. It's all of Bossier, all of the Bossier schools. But then, if you read, and by the way, this is a very serious frustration. I do not get the newspaper anymore, and it's just, I do like reading about what's happening in our community, except when I don't like reading about what's happening in our community. This was the version that was posted online. I have no idea if it was exactly the way it was worded in the press. Maybe some of you are getting the newspaper and you can tell me. But the headline says, Bossier schools will train staff change policies after religion lawsuit. And the very first word on the front page said B-O-O-S-I-E-R. Bossier. They can't spell Bossier in their own article. This, what? This is what frustrates me a little bit. And then you get to the letters to the editor. And I read it, there was a letter. That's what, yeah, some of us, I'm glad you're not on the microphone for that. I'm trying to be kind here too, but there was a letter that said, put it to a vote. Let the majority decide what happens in the school system. And I saw an article saying kind of what I wanted to say. Did anybody see these? Did you read this? So it says, religion in Bossier schools cannot be put to a vote. It was a letter submitted to the editor. I'll tell you who wrote it afterwards. And he referred to the original letter, and he said that had two major fallacies. Our founding fathers ensconced in the First Amendment freedom of conscience. This means that no person's religious beliefs will be coerced in any way by the government. That's why we don't hold votes on what religion is practiced by a governing body. A person's right to practice his or her faith is sacrosanct and cannot be infringed by the majority. Second, many people came to America in colonial times to be able to practice their faith without hindrance. Have we heard these words somewhere? Nobody knows who said them yet. But when our country was established, which I consider to be the ratification of the Constitution, the writers of that document deliberately left out any mention of God. There was a typo there too, by the way. So what's your view? It says, he continues saying, this was not by accident. Many, during the writing and ratification of the Constitution, wanted to include references to God. These arguments were outvoted by the majority of the Constitutional Convention. A clear precedent of the majority preferred not to establish any state religion. The reason why Bossier Parish is being sued is because it has violated the U.S. Constitution, and no amount of misreading or misunderstanding of our history and laws will change that, and you can't take a vote to decide on that in Bossier. And the author just walked in and is sitting in the back, so just so that you know. And I was very proud that he did that. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is I do not want to say anything about the politics. You know that what I commented on was the spelling and the fact that we have families that were affected by it, and some of it has made our families uncomfortable. But I would like to talk to you about this. How do we feel about this? What would you like us to do about it? I'm hoping that we have communication and conversation about this. I really want to know what you think. And that's part of why I brought it up now before we start our services. So now that we're ready to start our services, I'm going to first, before we even get to take a breath, we have a guest singer with us tonight, and I am thrilled because most of you have already met her, and have at least heard her during the High Holy Days and during Shabbat Shira, which is, I think, my most favorite service that we have done here ever, and I'm very proud of that one. But this is Sarah Dunham, and I'm going to let her introduce herself for a moment.
Well, it's kind of funny how I ended up here. I grew up in Georgia, and I went to my undergrad there and got a degree in vocal performance. And then I felt I hadn't been abused enough, so I got another degree in vocal performance in Texas. And I now work for a computer company. So I am not really using my degree every day, but I hope to someday, you know, when I grow up, be a famous opera singer. And the rabbi invited me to come and help lead the service. And
As
I
often
said,
as
sure.
she can.
Yeah.
We're hoping that she comes a lot. So I hope that you get to stay for a minute afterwards and get to know her better. And we do hope that she comes often. And having said that, one of our traditions is that because the week has been a stressful week, because we've been busy changing the world and making it a better place, right? Yes? Yes. Okay, good. We get to take a deep breath. And let it out slowly. And take in that extra soul that accompanies us during Shabbat. Try again. Let it out slowly. And I am going to ask everyone to please turn to page 82. I am going to ask Tammy and Mitch to please come up and help us with the blessings. I'm going to ask Kathy, would you please close the back doors, because I think that the humidity got worse when we opened that.
Either way, I'm fine.
She's going to sing this, isn't she?
She's going to sing. She's going to sing. Yep. We rise, please.
These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbath long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. Baruch atah, you want to say?
Would you like me to sing?
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechad likner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We now turn to page 160. You want her to sing, Mitch, or do you want to read?
That's fine.
Okay, so we turn to
She's got a
page.
much better voice than mine.
I don't know. We like when Mitch
That's
sings.
questionable.
Page 165 for the Kiddush in Hebrew.
Which page was it? Sorry.
We don't have. We're going to do that one. We'll do that together. 165.
Yes.
Ready? 165, I think. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pori hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit Ki hu yom techila lo nikra'e kodesh Zecher l'tziat mitzrayim Ki vanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol V'shabbat ha'kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat L'chaim. You may be seated if you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Thank
Shalom.
you.
We'll do this again. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom and Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, y'all.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was telling Sarah that I'm sure that she has some melodies that we don't know, and we have melodies that she may not know, and we'll get used to each other, and I hope she comes very often so that we learn from her and she learns from us. We continue on the bottom of page 83. There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own.
On
Shabbat,
Shabbat, we wish not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we think only of ourselves. Hearts to the
Need of others.
Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, day of rest,
Day of joy, day of
peace.
peace.
And we welcome the angels that accompany us on Shabbat as we sing together.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
I'll be right this time. Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now time to say goodbye. Seidchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel, born of our longing for the living God. It has been to Israel throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast, it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace.
Truth is true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people, as it has been said, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples."
Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here, and here find life. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yamad divrachutei, v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayut chol beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'yemru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal, shemei dekodashah, brichu, leila min kol brichata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiron b'alma, v'yemru, amen.
Shema.
No, we're going to do Baruch Hu first.
Oh, Baruch Hu first. Excuse me.
Let's do Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. O God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, "You cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you." Even so does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life. When
Justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when, to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives, and we can begin to change the world. Then you live within our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence.
Now you can Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
sit down unless you're from my bet class, and then I invite you to please come up.
Come on out.
Sorry. You want to come up? Come on, come on. We'll call you bet class. You're in the bet class this year. It counts. Come. We're on page 88. You could be. Ready? Here, go ahead. You want to be the voice? Who wants to be the voice? Go ahead. You get to
Me?
be
I get to be the voice?
Go ahead. You can start us.
I'll help you. את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You shall love your eternal God with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them to them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children.
This is the covenant I made with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people.
We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power.
You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else.
We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world.
Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream.
We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed.
You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds.
We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace.
Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children. When we are
witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth.
You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me. Israel, God, when we proclaim you, God, our Redeemer,
as our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea.
Which one are we? 37.
37.
Backwards.
Sorry.
There
Okay.
are no page numbers in this book.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedadar ba'kodesh, no Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, Malechutecha ubravanecha boker hayam lifnei Moshe zeyanu v'yamru Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim v'al kol ha'olam. We give thanks for the night and its rest, and the promise of peace for all the world. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, v'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 93. Melena, would you like to come help us, please, with this one? Because you are bat mitzvah. You have to be bar bat mitzvah in order to help lead this one.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdet Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'am Shemo Be'ava, Melech Ozer Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah.
We continue on 94. God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth.
God of life and death, be praised. Through us send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust.
Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth, we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy.
God and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath to rest, to explore, and learn, and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days.
God, who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God.
Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. You are goodness, you are compassion. We give thanks to you forever.
We read together below the Hebrew. God of peace, of justice, and of love, be praised. Inspire us to banish forever hatred, war, and bloodshed. Help us to establish forever one human family united in peace. God of peace, bless us with peace. We take a moment for silent prayer.
May the words of my mouth
Imre fi v'hegion libi
and the meditations of my heart
lefanecha
be acceptable to you.
Lefanecha
Be acceptable to you.
Adonai tzuri,
O God, my rock,
tzuri v'goali,
my rock and my redeemer.
Adonai tzuri,
O God, my rock,
v'goali.
and redeemer.
That was good. Amen. Thanks for hitting the high notes. We now turn to the inside back cover as our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating. You've got an inside back cover and I don't. It's not fair. I used that book last week too. It's not good. Included in our list today, and I turn off the microphone to say these names. Phil Blaufus and Carrie Bollinger. if you have other names that you'd like us to be praying for, please call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. We praise you, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. And we sing.
Mi sheberach avotenu mechor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of the body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
It has become our tradition to say for those who are serving, for those who've gone away and have come back, we say, Mi sheberach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us. In this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve, may they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. Sorry. We're glad you're back. And we have others who are there now, and our prayers are for them. And with things that have happened in the past 2 weeks, we think about those who run into danger. How many times do we say this, that we think about this, the people who run into danger for our sake? The story in the Torah portion actually in some ways connects to that, because it's a story not about bravery, but about what people think look like bravery, but is about the most cowardly, horrible thing that anyone can do. And that is that there's the story in the Torah portion about, do you know the name of the guy that we're supposed to remember to forget to remember to forget? So it's a bizarre line in the Torah portion that we think about. It gets to me every year. And I wasn't going to talk about the bravery and the cowardice, but Amalek was this guy who took his army hundreds of miles to attack the Jews, because the Jews had just gotten out of Egypt and they were this very powerful nation, and everybody was intimidated by the size and by the fact that God was protecting them. And he said, I will show them. I will be able to show them. And what he does is he sneaks up behind us and he starts attacking the people who are in the back of our lines. The people in the back of our lines, as you can imagine, were the slower ones. And the slower ones were the kids and the elderly and the sick. Those were the ones in the back, and that's who he attacked. And it's one of the most cowardice things that you could do, is attack people from behind. And so in the Torah it tells us that you are supposed to remember to forget his name. You're supposed to forget Amalek, and you have to remember to forget Amalek. And are we good at forgetting Amalek? Well, maybe. I mean, if I ask you what was that guy's name, you may not have remembered it. I don't know. You may not remember when he attacked us from behind, because it's been a long time ago. But it is said that his descendant is the guy that we're going to be reading about this week and booing and blotting his name out. Who's the guy that we boo this week? Boo! See, you said it. I didn't say it. I never get to boo. You got to do it. So it's said that he's a descendant of Amalek, and that we're supposed to remember to forget. So there's a cool connection between the stories, and I may say this every year because I think it's so cool, and that is that in the story of Esther, some character is obviously present but is never mentioned. Who is that obviously present but never mentioned character? God, thank you. Oh my gosh, that was freaky. Yes, God. It's true, and we won't forget. And that's the thing. It feels like we forgot to put God's name. We wouldn't forget you. But even when God's not there, God's presence is known. And you can see that God is there in between all the lines. There's an ironic connection, or a coincidental connection. It's coincidental that this week's Torah portion, there's somebody who's missing. And it isn't God. There's somebody who's missing who is in most of the Torah portions ever since he was born, but he's not in this Torah portion. And it's Moses. God is good today. God's on top of this. It's not hard. Do you ever see the one where there's a cartoon about God being like playing Jeopardy and has racked up billions of points? Because God knows all the answers. But it felt like that. Yeah, Moses isn't mentioned at all in the Torah portion today. And there are all kinds of theories about why it doesn't happen. But to me, it speaks to this thing about remembering and remembering to forget. And for me, it's a lot about names. The name of this week's Torah, this week's Shabbat, is called Shabbat Zachor. That means remember. It's the Shabbat of remembrance. I have taught you before that there is a Jewish tradition that says in the book of Numbers, there's a section that, we're not in the book of Numbers right now, but there's a section where just a few paragraphs after each other, it says you have to remember to do Passover. And the rabbis and the sages and anybody who's looked at it says, didn't you just say that? Why do you have to say that again? I mean, my memory may not be great, but you just said that. And so the rabbis teach us that God intentionally created us to be forgetful creatures. Because if not, we would take, let's say, a year or 2 or 3 and study Torah and never have to look at it again. And that's a very sad thing. Because ideally, every time you look at the Torah, you see something new. You get new answers. You are a different person every time you see it. But this year, when I was thinking about Zachor, remembering and forgetting, I was thinking about names. I don't know about you. Are you having problems, more and more problems remembering names? Yeah, I mean, I was terrible about names in history classes when I was young. I know I shouldn't admit these things. I was terrible about, I thought I was getting pretty good about remembering names, but every once in a while, it's like, it's on the tip of my tongue. And I feel like that's part of the lesson of this week's Torah portion, because we have Moses there when his name's not there. We have God there when God isn't mentioned. And a lot of times that's what happens to us even in life. There are things that you don't have to be reminded of, but they're always there. Sometimes it may help if you bring up the name, but there are people you love who are not immediately present, either because they live somewhere else or because they're gone. And they're still there. And you don't have to be reminded to remember them. And you're not going to forget to remember them, which is the opposite of what they were teaching us in today's Torah portion about remembering to forget. That's my words of wisdom. And I am going to call upon who wants to read our announcements today? Kathy, you want to come up as our secretary and read them or no? You don't have to come up from the back. I could read them and I'll be done before you get up here if you want. Is that good? I was told that when there's no, it's easy. We know what they are. We've already heard them a few times already. And that is that we want to thank Tammy and Mitch for helping us with the blessings. We want to especially thank Sarah Dunham for being here tonight and leading us with her beautiful voice. And I hope that we get to see you often. Come back. And remembering that this Sunday is the Community Purim Carnival. What time does it start? 10:30. What time does lunch start? 11:30, it ends about 1 o'clock when the bouncy things have to go home. But we've got not only bouncy houses, we've got this new challenge game that you have not seen before, and we've got face painting, and we've got skill games, and we've got prizes, and delicious grown-up food for the grown-ups and things, and I think you're going to have fun. We also have a new Purim spiel that the Bet class put together that is, I mean, I think that each year we're getting better and better. It's really fun this year, so I hope you come to see it. That's going to be playing in the parlor all morning long, so you'll get to see that, and it's going to be awesome. That's your hint. And by the way, we are not doing a Purim Shabbat service this year. Usually we have a Friday evening where we also do a slideshow version of it. We're not going to do that this year. Next Friday, Helene is going to be covering for me for services Friday and Saturday. I'm going to say it's because it's my birthday weekend and she begged me to do it, but Mom's also going for surgery that weekend. So I appreciate that Helene is covering. The people of the, Monday, we have a food bank. If you want to help with the food bank from 1:30 to 3:30, please come to help with the food bank, but contact Helene first because there are other details that we need to talk to you about. The people of the book club is meeting on Tuesday, February 27th at 7 p.m. They're going to be discussing the book, The Fortune Teller's Kiss by Brenda Sarade. Wednesday, I am going to be at the Oaks. And I'm going to be discussing dilemmas from a Jewish perspective. And this time I'm going to be discussing the dilemmas from the book of Esther. And I already told you about Helene. And now I just have to tell you that donations were made to B'nai Zion or for Pulpit Flowers in loving memory of Walter James Cousins by Phil Blofus, in loving memory of Marsharia Horn Sinclair by Elena Howard and by the Sinclairs, and in memory of Frida Kaplan-Walensek by Nell and Avery Kahn. That was correct, wasn't it? Thank you. And now we call up anybody who is around 13 or younger to come up and help us with opening the ark. Everyone else is turning to page 148 and getting ready to rise. That's what I want to see. Come on, zoom, zoom. As we open the ark, everyone please rise. It's the Torahs. I missed you, Torahs. You coming up? Help me. I know you're not 13, but you can come up and help me sing. Come on up and help me sing. Ready? Come here, help me sing. Ready? Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And when the ark is closed, you may be seated.
Y'all sing so nicely.
They're good, great singers. And they're good door closers, too. And they're also good at this. Watch. You want to give one to Sarah, too? She deserves them. Thank you, thank you. And God. We continue on page 150. The day will come when all shall turn with trust to you, O God, hearkening to your voice and bearing witness to your truth. Please join me. We pray with all our hearts. Let violence be gone. Let the day come soon when evil shall give way to goodness, when war shall be forgotten, and all at last shall live in freedom. O source of life, may we, created in your image, embrace one another in friendship and in joy. Then shall we be one family, and then shall your sovereignty be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The eternal God will reign forever and ever. On that day, O God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one. Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. I'm sad to report to you, we have had 6 military deaths this year, but we've increased our police deaths this year. We've now lost 21 police officers this year so far. This year, they're all males. All of our losses this year are males. 14 were by gunshot. 5 were in vehicular situations. 2 of them died from complications still from 9/11. We have lost one of those, as you recall, was from Louisiana, not the 9/11. And we lost another K-9 officer. We've lost 4 K-9 officers this year. We lost another firefighter. We've now lost 8 firefighters this year alone, including one from Louisiana. We pray that their families are consoled and that their memories are a blessing, and that we always are thankful for those people who run into danger in order to protect us. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We turn to page 152. We remember also those 17 people who passed away, who died, were killed in Florida just last week. It's hard to sing of oneness when our world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives most fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone and every life finds purpose. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us, and I want to hope you can indulge me. Tim lost Yogi this week. I know that you remember that he had a place that he called Yogi and Friends because Yogi was his first lioness. She was 18 years old, and we're really sorry for your loss, Tim. And we remember congregants' parents who died within the past year. We remember Shirley Seligman, Stephen Muslow, and Janet Pachter Stewart. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzeit this week include Esther G. Barron, May F. Benson, Leonard Cooper, Walter James Cousins, Isaac Ebersfield, Marlene Foreman, Edith Gladstein, Bertha P. Goldsmith, S. F. Gordon, Andrew B. Kelly, Paul Manasseh, Jacob A. Mandel, Mrs. Brody Sorkin-Maritsky, Geraldine Meyer, Miriam Miller, Blanche L. Reyes, David River, Celia Schlinsky, Erwin Siegel, Marcia Rhea, Marcia Horn Sinclair, Lillian Spitzer, Kurt Gerhard Strauss, Fanny Tefka, Stephen Alkis Threefoot, Marjorie Weisman, and Frida Kaplan-Wolenzik. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154, and the translation is on 155. V'yit gadal, v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chilutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye chon u'v'yomei chon, u'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehe shemei rabbah mevarach la'alam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma, v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. And you may be seated, but I'm going to call up the 13-ish and under, please, to help us with the, I don't know, whatever's over here.
Come on up. It's time to get a snack.
What's here? We're going to go in front of this. Oh, yeah, we got one. Let's take this. Somebody hold this. Who's going to hold it? Thank you. Hold it. Make sure everybody gets to hear voices. Come on over here. Hold on underneath. Hold on, hold on. Hold on the bottom. Come on, come on. Hold on, hold on. Everybody gets a... Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let us sing so that everybody can have some Onek Shabbat stuff.
Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
All right, I get this plate. You guys grab. Let go. Grab. Share.
It's like the Hunger Games.
It is. We're hungry. It's like the Hunger Games. It is the Hunger Games. The Shabbos Hunger Games. I have loved singing with you tonight.
Thank you for singing.
I am looking forward to coming back more and more.
Oh,
and us learning
thank
your
you.
melodies. And I invite everyone now to please rise for the closing benediction. What a blessing it is for us to be here together to pray. Look at this group. I love this. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace and a Shabbat shalom. Bim.